Good morning, everyone. I will just get everyone to just mute their microphones. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Appreciate you all turning up on time. I'm just going to mute everybody just to make sure we don't get any background noise. I'll just give everyone a couple more minutes before we start. And I will say, if anyone's got any questions that they would like to pose, you can do so in the chat function. And then at the end of the presentation, there'll be a short opportunity for Q&A. So feel free to use that either now or during the presentation if you'd like to ask questions. And I will try and get to as many of those as I can. Just give everyone one more minute to see if we get any other joiners, and then we'll kick off. Fantastic. Well, good morning, everyone. Oh, sorry, just had one more joining as well. Hope that doesn't continue to happen, but let's see how we go. So I'm just going to share my screen and bring up the presentation that we released on Monday morning. Shares the current state of affairs at WAWA. Right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Skinner. I'm the CEO of Wide Open Agriculture. I'd like to welcome you to this investor webinar. Firstly, I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay respects to our elders past, present, and emerging. It's a really exciting time here at Wide Open Agriculture. We have made some really strong traction over the past 12 months, and I think we're in a really exciting position. We have launched Lupin Protein to the world. We have regular customers. We have recurring sales. The team is working hard to keep up with demand. And we have what we think is one of the most strategically important protein sources that can feed the world going forward. And I'll talk more about that. So, Lupin Protein, born in Australia, made to feed the world. We are the only ones working in the lupin protein isolate space. We have the true first mover advantage for a protein that is not only strong environmentally and functionally, but has amazing nutritional claims as well. And that's all down to our proprietary technology that gives us a really high yielding, high protein and highly pure protein source that can feed the world. And we are the largest producer globally with operations in Western Australia and Germany. We have technology developed right out of Western Australia where lupins are grown. 85% of the world's sweet lupins are grown. And a manufacturing facility that sits at the heart of 600 million consumers in Europe and has access to global trade routes for North America and Asia. So strategically, brilliantly located, and we're really excited about what the future holds. And as I said, we have this commercial traction now across protein powders and premium sales. And we are at a substantial premium to where pea and soy and other proteins are in the market, and we're growing all the time. Our capital structure at the moment, current 1.9 cent market share price gives us a market cap of about 12.2 million. But with $3.5 million cash, that essentially gives us an enterprise value of less than $10 million. To say that I think that's cheap is an obvious understatement. We have something that is globally significant, is really exciting, and is homegrown here in WA. We're in the middle of raising another $500,000 through a share purchase plan. The whole point of that plan was to give every shareholder access to the same deal that the placement was done on, and that is, it was 2.3 cent share price, but there's a 1-for-2 free attached listed option, which gives huge potential upside. And this offer closes on Monday, the 7th of July. The use of those funds are going to be to obviously focus on continuing our sales growth and unlocking that China market. So where are we at as a company? Well, we've validated the technology. We've talked for many years now about the potential and the opportunity in the sales pipeline. We're now delivering on that sales pipeline with a technology that is tried and tested. We've de-risked it with our latest developments around the modification technology, our US trial that we just talked about, but also the oil extraction, where we're starting to see the whole of seed utilization coming through as a strong business model that will drive growth, not only in protein, but also fiber, oil, and gamma-con gluten. So there's lots of opportunities ahead, and we are now focused on the scaling opportunities that are present in the global protein market. We have our facility in Germany. It is a fantastic facility. It enables us to talk credibly to food manufacturers globally. But at the same time, we're focused on building a 10,000 ton plus a year plant right here in Australia to really take on the global protein market at scale. The team is a great mixture of significant experience and some new thought leadership. And I think it really drives a really good balance. And Yashi has been critical in driving our agenda in China, which has been hugely beneficial. And talking of the China market, as we talked about, we've received export approval. We've also done our first shipments to China that we're testing the export process. And we're starting to work with our Chinese distributor on the prototypes and customer market segmentation. They're going to deliver significant potential sales in China. We're working with Univar, the world's #2 chemical and ingredient manufacturer, and the Chinese market is significant. When we talk to customers around the world, we're talking, when we talk about the sales ramp up, we talk about a 500-gram sample for research and development, maybe 500 kilos for initial product testing, and then sales in the 2, 5, 10 tons over a period of time. For China, we're looking at R&D volumes that are around the 50 tons. This is a significant market and the potential is huge. And so we are really excited about being a major player in the China protein market. But that's not the only market we're in, obviously. We have recurring sales now in the EU, in Argentina, but also in Chile and Ecuador. South America have a strong familiarity with lupins, and they love our lupin protein. It delivers that really clean protein kick that they've been looking for a long time to really upskill their protein products in South America. And we're also working in Japan and Mexico. So, we're starting to see some real global traction for our protein. And what can you buy with this? Well, I think the most exciting thing on this slide for me is that you can now buy lupin protein powder grown in Australia and now sold in Australia. So Lupin Gold launched a week ago. It is an Australian company selling lupin protein nationally in Australia. And we get so many people asking us, where can I buy your lupin protein? And now I have somewhere, a local customer that we've been working with and really developed what is a really clean, nutritious, high value product. And we're really excited for it to come to market. And as I said, these are repeat customers now. We are at a significant premium to pea and soy. We have a new 8-ton order we talked about in the last 4C, and we are getting recurring volumes. In fact, I was talking to our team this morning, and they're talking about how hard they are having to work to keep up with demand. So we're in a really exciting phase of growth. And that growth is important because the market, the global market for protein is significant and it's growing quickly. If I look at the chart, the market at the moment is worth $84 billion, expected to almost double over the next 10 years. And that's because the world needs more protein. But if I think about specifically what's so exciting for me, it's that our products don't just work in one segment of the protein market, not even two. Our product works across the entire protein spectrum. So you can see here, when I look at applications, plant-based dairy, protein powders and health snacks, meat analogs, and that's just not sort of, the fake meat, the Beyond Meats of the world. We actually do hybrid. We've got a customer in Europe who's working on a hybrid sausage that's half meat, half plant protein that really has significant lower carbon emissions, egg replacements, baked goods, noodles, dips, the list goes on. And so when we think about the size of that market and all the areas, all the sort of product categories in it, our lupin protein can target the majority of them and gives us significant upside potential. The other exciting thing about this slide is we are now starting to address the whole of seed utilization. So we're not just talking about protein, but we're talking about fiber having significant benefits. The lupin oil we've just commercially extracted and starting to sample that. And we also have gamma-con gluten, which is in early stage R&D, but we're really excited about the potential for that product as well. But let's turn our attention to protein. There's going to be 9.8 billion people in the world, and we need to find a way to provide protein that is better than what we're doing at the moment. Food demand is going to rise 50%. If it all comes from animals, then the amount of greenhouse gas emissions, water use, land use dedicated to that is going to be unsustainable. It uses far too much of the world's fresh water and far too much farmland. Of the plant protein sources, if you look at the dominant player, which is soy, it's responsible for significant deforestation in South America, which is a huge problem. Lupins, on the other hand, can fix some of these challenges. And on the right, here's a really interesting graph: greenhouse gas emissions per 100 grams of protein. Now, you might obviously see that, beef is a significant outlier there, huge greenhouse gas emissions, but even lamb, fish, chicken, eggs, they all contain significant greenhouse gas emissions. But when you look at lupins, these are much lower in greenhouse gas emissions. But not only that, they grow in poor soils. They fix nitrogen into the soil to improve subsequent yields. They're very drought tolerant. And as you look at the way global climatic change is happening, lupins can be almost like a frontier crop to fight that desertification and erosion of soil. It really does act as a sort of super fertilizer for farming regions, which is why they're so popular in Australia. So we've talked about how good they are environmentally, but we now need to talk about what they are nutritionally. And if you look here, blood pressure, heart health, diabetes are 3 of the leading causes of premature death globally. And lupin protein can play a role in alleviating the challenges with all 3 of them. And for that reason, we are really excited about the opportunities here when we talk about the movement as food as medicine, the role that lupins can play in really helping and support some of the key challenges we face. They've got more protein than other plant-based crops. They're high in fiber, low in fat, carbohydrate, and sugar, non-GMO, and they contain all amino acids, and they're particularly high in arginine and glutamine, which is really, really important for muscle growth and repair, but also fetal growth, fetal development, and sexual function. So it is a very, very versatile and nutritious crop. Now, the challenge has always been, we've got this amazing lupin crop, but it's majority fed to livestock. And the reason is it doesn't function particularly well in the food ingredient, so it's not very soluble, so it doesn't dissolve in water very easily, and it has a terrible taste, very bitter. The technology that we have is removing that bitter taste and significantly improving the functionality of the lupin protein. And that gives us not only a first mover advantage, but a competitive suite of IP that will really challenge people to catch up with the development that we've done over the past almost 5 years now. So we have a 5-year head start on everyone else. And that's really important because that 5-year head start is not only a theoretical head start, but we have a manufacturing facility in Germany that is now developing the technology from the lab scale all the way through to pre-commercial scale. It's a really impressive plant in Grimmen in Germany. It's got scalable technology which allows us to ramp up production, but also trial and investigate ways in which we can scale the technology more effectively. And again, we talked about the latest press release around the modification technology that we've done. That has really demonstrated the huge efficiency gains that we can achieve, not only in Germany, but when we talk about a 10,000 ton plant at significant scale. So our German plant is ramping up. As I said, the team are working hard to keep up with demand now, which is really exciting. And the technology is not just the registered IP, but it's the know-how and the internal secrets that we have from working with lupins for over 5 years, or for 5 years. So it's not just what you see protected through IP, it's what we know as an organization and the deep expertise that we have. And if I think about, where we're going in the future, I think food security is a significant opportunity that's going to fuel growth in this industry. And there are multiple countries globally that are thinking about food security. And you think about the macro forces that are driving those discussions. We have obviously Russia's invasion of Ukraine and what that's done to wheat supply globally. And suddenly people are looking and saying, are my trade supplies, are my food products really as safe as I thought they were? People are looking at US tariffs and seeing the chaos and turmoil that they've done to trade routes and thinking, again, what would happen if the price of my key inputs were to double or triple because of tariffs? Where does that leave me in terms of feeding my population? So this is a really significant moment where people are starting to think about what is my food security strategy for my country. And Australia has launched its own food security plan called Feeding Australia. So a really interesting time. And I think for us, we have a crop that grows in very marginal soils. It's very drought resistant. It is extremely high protein. It puts nitrogen in the soil. It improves soil quality and can now be used as a human food ingredient. So when people start thinking about food security, I think lupins is going to be on the top of many people's list. But what's the outlook for wide open agriculture? Well, obviously sales is still critical. So we're looking to secure multi-year high volume supply agreements. And partly the supply agreements is to demonstrate to the market that we have locked in customer contracts, but we're also looking to finalize the pricing and volume terms in China. We think that's really exciting. We've talked already about the oil extraction, but also the fiber and the gammon corn gluten. These are all co-products that are previously waste streams that we're now looking to upcycle and not only improve our revenue, but also significantly improve our margins as we look to get revenue growth and cash flow positive. We're going to continue to support customer product launches. We have a significant amount of R&D that we're doing to really showcase to our customers the versatility of our product. And that will continue to be in collaboration with top food and beverage engineers globally, who are also working on for the feasibility study to build a 10,000 tonne facility here in Australia. We often talk in Australia about the importance of value adding in the agricultural sector, and people can kind of, not always clear what that means. I am very clear what that means. That means taking a product like lupins, which is hugely beneficial for soil and environmental farm health in Australia, and turning it to something that is high value onshore in Australia. Selling our lupin protein as an Australian-made product around the world would be a huge mark of achievement, not only for the company, but I think for the country as a whole, because this is a globally significant protein source that we are really excited about. Now, we can't do that alone. We need partners that can help us get there. Now, that can be, food companies, it can be investors, it can be governments, but we're looking to build a collaborative effort that will really deliver this at scale over the next 5, 10, 20 years, because this is a really exciting long-term project. That's why we're all part of it. It's why we believe passionately in it. And I like to think that we're building a network of people who believe that just as we do. So thank you all for your time and attention this morning. I really appreciate you all joining. I'm going to see now if we have any questions from the audience. I'll just have to pop into the Teams meeting. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a second so I can see the chat. Oh, Stuart says, unfortunately, he can't get any sound. Stuart McAlpine, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is a regenerative farmer in the Bunting region of Australia. He supplies the majority of our lupins, and they're all regeneratively grown, very high in protein, very low in alkaloids. And he's one of the founders of WOA and a key shareholder. So thank you, Stuart. And apologies you don't have sound. How much will the 10,000 tonne plant expected to be, and how do you finance that, and with what time frame are we expecting? So the 10,000 tonne plant, it depends on many factors in terms of location and existing facilities. What we're looking to do from our feasibility study is really understand from a greenfield site what that's going to cost and how the engineering and the scaling around that will have to be. Using that information, we can then approach all the stakeholders to understand how we could go about funding that and what government support is available to keep this industry onshore. In terms of the USA market, one of the challenges of the USA market is the changing nature of FDA regulations around food imports. We have two issues. One is there's a 20% tariff for European imports to the US, but secondly, the regulations around it's something called grass, generally regarded as safe. The FDA is reviewing those regulations. We are working with customers in the US. They can import the lupin protein, but we also have to be mindful of some of the regulatory challenges that we have. Based on the existing orders and commercial trials, are you able to provide a sales forecast for FY26 based on existing customers? Unfortunately, we are not able to provide forecasting at the moment. One of our challenges is the nature of the end consumer demand is not known yet. We have some reliable data. We also have some customers who are looking to launch second and third products, product lines from their existing using lupin protein. So, for example, we have a protein shake, protein powder manufacturer who wants to launch a dip, a hummus made from lupins. But we are seeing growth and we're seeing huge demand there. Until we have some more stability around sell-through, we won't be able to give a forecast. When you say German plant is struggling to cope with demand, does that mean it works at the 500 tonne limit? I don't quite understand that question. So I say it's struggling to cope with demand. I mean, we're having recurring orders come through and the team are working hard to make sure we fulfill those orders and get them out as quickly as possible. Given the scale and cost advantage of large lupin producers, how's Woa plan to differentiate itself in the global market? So I think the just hang on one sec. Yeah. So I'll do one more question. Sorry. Given the scale and cost advantage of lupin products, what makes your lupin-based products unique compared to other lupin offerings? So around the world, there are different types of lupin on sale. There's the raw lupins you can buy. You can buy them as lupin flakes, which are basically just rolled lupins, but they retain the bitter taste. They don't have the functionality. You can do a lupin concentrate, which again still has the bitter taste, and it doesn't have the functionality benefit that we do, and it only provides, lupin flour is 40% protein, lupin concentrate is 60%. What we're offering is an 85 to 90% protein source that has solubility, emulsification, and other benefits that are really valued by the food industry. So I think we're offering something that other people in the market are not. We've got first mover advantage in the lupin protein isolate market, and I think we're really excited about that. Actually, there is one last question I can answer quickly. How are you ensuring non-GMO inputs? So lupins are non-GMO. So there'll be no genetically modified lupins, and therefore we can demonstrate that all lupins are non-GMO, unlike, say, soy, where a large portion of the market is now genetically modified, and that's going into both some human but mainly animal sources as well. So I think I'll call it there. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you so much. The recording will be available online shortly, I hope, and we will hopefully speak to you all soon at another one of these investor webinars. So thank you all very much. Have a great day.